Hello and welcome to The Explainer. So, let's talk about artificial intelligence. It's a topic that feels like it's absolutely everywhere right now. But today, we're going to look at it from a completely different angle. Not as some sudden, explosive revolution, but as this quiet, gradual rise that's been happening right under our noses. Okay, think about movies like The Terminator or The Matrix. We all picture the big, flashy stuff, right? The epic wars with the machines. But this quote really hits on something important. We tend to focus on that dramatic climax, but we totally miss the slow, quiet buildup. And you know what? That quiet beginning, that's exactly where the real story of AI is happening right now.
And that brings us to the core idea we're digging into today, this huge gap between the Hollywood myth of a sudden apocalypse and the much calmer, quieter reality of how AI is actually evolving.
So you've got these two totally different stories. On one side, there's the myth, that one Skynet goes live moment where AI flips a switch and goes from helpful assistant to world-ending threat overnight. But the reality? Well, it's way less dramatic. It's this slow, steady progression. Each new advance just kind of builds on the last one, and we, as a society, we just adjust. There's no single day of reckoning. It's more like a slow crawl.
So, if it's not some big sudden leap, then what does AI's growth actually look like? Well, it turns out it's a lot more about learning than it is about leaping into consciousness.
The best way to think about it is that AI's development is a spectrum, not a single event. The source material uses this really great analogy. It's like human learning. I mean, think about it. A child doesn't just wake up one morning as an adult, right? It's a process of slow, continuous growth, learning, and changing. And it seems like AI is on a very similar path, just evolving stage by stage.
And this whole idea of gradual growth, it forces us to ask a much bigger, much deeper question, one that really gets to the heart of this entire debate. What do we even mean when we use the word intelligence?
Which leads us right to this really provocative question. Is AI already smarter than us? It's a wild thought, and honestly, the answer completely depends on how you look at it. There are two really compelling sides to this argument.
Okay, let's break this down. In AI's corner, the case is pretty rock solid. It can process amounts of data we can't even comprehend, solve insanely complex problems with incredible speed, and it can master specific tasks way beyond what any human could do. But then, you look at the human column, and this is where it gets really interesting. We have creativity, imagination, intuition, originality. We literally create things from nothing. AI is amazing at remixing existing patterns, but can it have a truly original thought? That's a huge fundamental difference.
Now, this whole debate, machine thinking versus human thinking, it's not new, not at all. And to get a better handle on it, we can actually look back a few decades to this fascinating concept that tried to tackle this very problem. It's called fuzzy logic.
So, what the heck was fuzzy logic? Well, back in the 80s and 90s, it was this really clever idea to try and make computers think less like, well, rigid machines and more like us. The goal was to bridge that gap between a computer's black and white world and our messy world of gray areas by allowing for degrees of truth. The difference here is really night and day. See, traditional computers run on what's called Boolean logic. Everything is absolute. 0 or 1, true or false, on or off. But fuzzy logic introduced a spectrum. Something could be, say, 0.3 true and 0.7 false. It was a way to get machines to handle all the uncertainty and ambiguity that we humans just navigate without even thinking about it.
But here is the catch, and it is a big one. Even with a more advanced system like fuzzy logic, a machine's logic is still bound by rules. It's almost always an if-then structure. If A happens, B must follow. Human logic, though, we operate on maybe. If A happens, well, maybe B will happen, or C, or maybe something completely unexpected that we just dreamed up on the spot. That unpredictability, that's everything.
And that right there brings us to the final, and I think the most important part of this whole explainer. Figuring out that uniquely human spark. What is it that truly, fundamentally, makes us different from the machines we create?
This quote just nails it. A human being can create something from nothing, dream without boundaries, and inject meaning shaped by culture, emotion, and lived experience. You see, it isn't just about processing data. It's about creating meaning.
And AI can analyze a beautiful painting down to the pixel, but it can't feel the joy or the sadness that inspired it.
So when you boil it all down, these are the things that really separate us. Our unpredictability, our capacity for genuine, out-of-the-blue originality, our deep ability to give things meaning, and an imagination that can leap far beyond just rearranging patterns it's already seen. At the end of the day, AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's not a mind.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? The argument is pretty convincing that AI will remain a tool. But as it keeps on with its slow, quiet, imperceptible advance, you have to wonder, will AI always be just a tool? Or could it one day somehow become a mind? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.